Sure thing. Thank you.
All right, just a few quick housekeeping things. Most of us are here in person and that is wonderful. Thank you. It's so good to see you guys, not on a screen. It's great for you that are joining us virtually though too. Wonderful. We will go ahead and get started. If you speak, just try to project your voice loud enough so that you reach this lovely little owl guy with the microphone, and be aware that those eyes are always watching. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to you, Pat.
It's like being in first grade all over again. Teacher's eyes are on you. So welcome everyone, and welcome to those who dialed in. Hard to believe that it's been 2 years we had to see this ugly face. I'm sorry it's back. So, but it's nice to be in person. Firefighter was already booked, so we ended up being here. So I think it worked out great. So, so Debbie, if you would please roll call.
Okay. Gerald Billiou.
Here.
Jim Bolin.
Here.
Kevin Binker. Lori Jennings for Kevin Busher.
Present.
Brian Cannon.
Here.
Pat Click.
Here.
Dave Cole. Mike Conrad.
Here.
Lisa Erbacher. Adam Slack. Tiffany Mackey.
Here.
Mandy Martin. Josh McElravy.
Mandy entered the waiting room. I'm letting her in now.
Okay, I will call Mandy's name. Mandy, are you there? You might need to
She's
unmute.
still loading, connecting to audio.
Mandy, are you there?
Let's come back.
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, we can. Thank
Yes.
you. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, Casey Burkholzer. Julie Obermark.
Here.
Stacy Parr. John Perry. Lori Foreman. Deb Reed.
Here.
Lewis Ryder. Denise Smith.
Present.
Perfect. Chris Stroll.
Here.
Kim Taylor. Carol Tracy.
Here.
Connie Waldrop. Jason Warfel.
Here.
Austin Zwilling. We have just enough for quorum, so. And I will call the CEOs whenever we start their meetings, so.
Okay, great. If you've got a chance by now to review, we need a motion and a second to approve the March 21st, 22 meeting minutes. I have a motion.
So moved.
Carol, thank you. A second?
Second.
This is Judy. I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Moving along, the conflict of interest disclosure, if anybody has one, we'll give you a couple of seconds to chime in. Not hearing one, we'll move on to our guest speaker. Jamie, do you want to introduce our guest speaker?
Sure. I would like you all to welcome Kim Kuchenbrod to our meeting. I am not going to try to say her official title because it's really long and there's a whole lot of different abbreviations in there, but to me, she is the Apprenticeship and Talent Pipeline Management Guru. I've invited her here today because we, as you know, we've been very invested in developing new and expanding current apprenticeships in our area. So we've got Nate on board with us as the Apprenticeship Navigator that I'll introduce here in just a few. But I want Kim to also just get us all really revved up and excited for all the great things that we are going to do here in LWIA 23. So without any further ado, Kim, would you like to come on up here and I will figure out how to do this.
Thank you, Jamie. I'm going to stand over to the side because if you've got people calling in, I don't want to stand in front of the PowerPoint presentation. Again, thank you, Jamie, for asking me to come talk to you about Talent Pipeline. For many of you, once you get to know me, you'll find out that Talent Pipeline is a strong passion of mine. I've been involved with TPM since the inception in 2015. It started with a white paper, and at that time I was under contract with Vermilion County, and I helped develop what we now call the TPM Academy and the TPM curriculum. And Nate is going to be going through that training with me, and Jamie has been sitting in as well. He is receiving an orientation to TPM training at the moment, but we're gearing Nate up to go to either Washington, DC, or to participate in a virtual training of Talent Pipeline and getting him his certification. All my titles, yeah, there's a lot there. Basically, I am certified TPM practitioner. I'm a TPM fellow and now a faculty member with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Currently, I am contracted through Illinois State University, but have been loaned out to DCEO. So I work very closely with all the LWIAs and the Department of Labor's National Apprenticeship Expansion Programs. Go ahead, next slide. So what is TPM? What is our navigator system? This is Illinois received, this is their third or fourth grant that they've received from the Department of Labor to create apprenticeship training programs across the state of Illinois. And Talent Pipeline is the foundation that our navigators are using. In 2021, we received almost an $8 million grant from the U.S. Department of Labor. And by the way, when I say we, that's DCEO, the state of Illinois as a whole. So what we did is we developed two different teams. One is our Illinois Navigator team, and then we have our intermediary team. And our intermediary teams are made up of training providers. But it is our Navigator team that is leading the charge for Apprenticeship Illinois. Currently, Illinois, if you don't know, it's divided into 10 economic development regions. And 8 of those regions are covered by navigators. Currently, we do have vacancies we have them in 7. We have 1, 3, and 5. 1 is the Springfield area, 3 is the Bloomington area, and 5 is the Northern State Line region. Otherwise, as you can see, Nate's up there. He is representing LWIA 23. So what is the role of the navigators? The roles of the navigators are to, they have 2 deliverables under their contract. They are to create at least 2 sector collaboratives, whether it be a manufacturing, a healthcare, an IT, whatever is the driving forces within that region. And collectively, he's going to work with them to have them identify some of their common pain points that they're dealing with. And as we're all coming out of COVID, we all know what those pain points are. Unfilled job positions, retention of our workforce, and diversifying our workforce. And so our navigators kind of serve as, I like to call them not really navigators, I like to call them Switzerland, because they're going to receive and work very closely with the businesses, and they're going to be collecting some very confidential information. And if you are working with Nate, rest assured that any of the data that he is collecting from your industry remains with him and him only. Because when he presents these results back, which I'll explain in a few minutes, he aggregates the results and shares it back to the entire collaborative. So if you're a manufacturer in the room and you're trying to fill positions of CNC operators, welders, production techs, and you're in your own little bubble of your world. But when you put all of this information together, you'll start to see why you're struggling to get some of these positions filled. If you have 20 positions and someone across the road has 30 positions and you're not aware of them, your pool and your need is 50 welders or 50 CNC operators. Do you have a talent pipeline already under development that's going to meet your current as well as your future needs? Next slide. So as I mentioned, these are the 3 most common pain points employers are dealing with right now. Those are those unfilled job openings, and how long is it taking an employer to get those jobs filled? I was just reviewing a survey that was done by a region today, and some of their positions, the postings are out 114 days before they can get that one candidate to accept that position. That's not including the onboarding and getting that individual ready for full production. And then how do you retain your current workforce? And can you use apprenticeships to help upskill your individuals in this training? Can you use apprenticeships as part of your onboarding rather than waiting for that individual to come find you? And then with your career advancement, are you looking internally or are you looking externally? Are you taking your internal candidates and providing them with that internal training, maybe through apprenticeship, media management apprenticeship training program, so that they can become mentors, and then you can hire in at that entry level position, rather than posting that high level position and limiting the number of candidates that you're receiving for that position. And of course, how do we diversify and provide additional opportunities? And what we've been able to do in this category is to look at those untapped talent pools that employers are overlooking for whatever reason, because that's not the way you've done it in the past. For example, are you working with your Department of Corrections to develop an apprenticeship training program? And there's been many, many successful programs across the United States working with the Department of Corrections, or working with individuals who may have a disability. Now, I will honestly share with you, some employers that put their hands up and say, nope, not gonna mess. I do not want to even go down that road. But the question is, do you understand the definition of disability? It's just not physical, it's emotional. It could be a learning disability. It could be asthma. It could be allergies. These are all disabilities that would require the employer to tweak the work environment just a little. But when you do something like that and you work with that particular population, then you have the Department of Vocational Rehab that can help provide the financial support and resources for you to retrofit your workforce, okay? And when we're working with apprenticeships, there are tax credits that are available for employers as well. We're just bringing in an apprenticeship training program, there is a tax credit. If you hire and work with a veteran, there's a tax credit that you can add to it. If the individual has a tax or disability, that's a third tax credit. If you're working with an individual from an underrepresented population, that's another tax credit. So all of those tax credits stack up where an employer could have upwards of $5,500 a year per apprenticeship as a tax credit. Next slide, please. So what is our role with our navigators to produce these sectors? Number one, their goals are to create a continuous pipeline of diverse talent. And we start that pipeline at 9th grade or 8th grade. Now, under the state of Illinois, under the State Board of Education, there are some acts that teachers are following where they have to introduce careers as early as kindergarten. And I asked the employers in this room, what have you done to engage with kindergarten students? And some of you may say, never. Why would I? But I'll change your mind by saying, who brings those little darlings to those career events? The mom and dads, the grandmas, the grandpas, the aunts and uncles, the neighbors who are out looking for employment. So by agreeing to participate and get the word out about your company or your industry, I can tell you many of the people in your community don't even know you're there, especially that next generation. I have worked for years with school districts, and I have high school seniors who come to me a few weeks before graduation with that, oh my gosh, look, I'm graduating in 2 and 3 weeks. What's my next step? And I don't want to go to college. And so I start talking to them about all of these employment opportunities that are in their own community. And they go, who? Where are they? I didn't know this company was in town. What do they make? What's their service? Because what has the employer done to promote themselves to that next generation? Many of the time, we wait for them to find us. So by switching a little paradigm shift and going to those students and working with the career advisors or the career counselors or the guidance counselors to find out the number of students who plan to go directly to the workforce, I challenge you to have a hiring fair, work with your school district and hire those individuals before they graduate from high school. Don't wait for them to find you, because chances are they won't find you. They'll go to other communities, and many of them go where their friends go. Many of them choose jobs based on the latest reality TV show as well. So then we're going to help you prepare and build that highly effective career pathways for learners. As employers, I heard someone say the CO program in Effingham, phenomenal program. Been watching it for years. But are you working with your school districts at that high school level and at your community college level to build next step career pathways? If I'm a high school student, what career and tech ed classes are available to me? And are those career and tech ed classes aligned by the highest demand, hardest to fill positions within your LWIA region? And is there a youth apprenticeship that they could go into? Are you offering internships and should you be offering apprenticeships instead, where the students are earning and learning and earning a credential? Because many times in the past, employers, in your job descriptions, you set the bar here. And maybe you're requiring a bachelor's degree. If you take a hard look at your job descriptions, which our navigators walk you through, did you set the bar so high that all of this talent is flowing underneath you and that you're missing? Or did you set the bar so low that now you have a constant turnover occurring because you're not meeting that individual's needs? So the navigator helps you find that happy medium. Then once we have our business partners, they've collected all the data, that what we do is we collaborate with the employers, the educators, and the training providers. When Nate comes to you and says, okay, we're going to create, and I'm just picking on manufacturing, always pick on manufacturers. If they're going to do a manufacturing collaborative and we bring the employers into the room and we say, okay, let's do a survey. And this is what the data is that we're going to collect. And he aggregates the results and sends them back. And he will discover that many of you called the same competencies 5 different job titles. Okay, how can we align those to develop a common language to share it with our educators and our training providers to create a common language? Are they teaching Blueprint? Do you need Blueprint? Are they teaching CNC? Are you earning those NIMS credentials at high school? Where are they picking up those credentials? Is your training provider even actually providing NIMS credentialing? But the bottom line is we want to train and retain that diverse, high quality workforce to help you fill those gaps that you're experiencing right now. Next slide, please. So this is Apprenticeship Illinois expansion from the 30,000 foot view from the state of Illinois. All of you are aware we had the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, DCEO. And on the other hand, you had your state LWIA. And under the state LWIA, to help support apprenticeship expansions, they have created an LWIA apprenticeship committee and 3 different groups. The system support group, which is developing dashboards and software programs so Nate and his team can use it to track all this information. A marketing work group, which oversees Apprenticeship Illinois National Apprenticeship Week and helps promote apprenticeship as a whole. And then we have youth and pre-apprenticeship work groups. Okay, now youth apprenticeships, can they be paid apprenticeships? Absolutely. Can pre-apprenticeships be paid? Absolutely. Can a youth be in a pre-apprenticeship? Absolutely. How old do you have to be to go into an apprenticeship? Depends on the apprenticeship, but the average age is 18 all the way up until retirement. You can enter it at any time. Now, on the left side, you'll see our apprenticeship navigators. Our business navigators, remember, they represent the businesses, and our intermediaries are representing our training providers. So they're in 2 different sides of the street, basically, but it's the roles of the navigators and the intermediaries to merge at some point. The beneficiaries in each one is that businesses have sustainable apprenticeship training programs, and the navigators can help identify apprentices, as well as our supporting stakeholders all fall under the apprenticeship program. But in the end, the ROI is strongest for the employer and for the learner in the end. And then holding it all together is the TPM. And I will explain TPM at this point. Next slide. So TPM has 6 key strategies. And on the left side, what we're doing is the navigators are working the employers through to understand and communicate what your needs are. So strategy 1 is probably the easiest of them all. LWIA 23 decides that they're going to form 2 collaboratives. What are those 2 collaboratives are and how, and then Nate, I'm just going to pick on you too. Nate will then go out and identify and recruit a minimum of 5 businesses. It's better if you have 10 or more, but we'll be happy with 5. That gets a good starting point. He will then organize it and start to walk you through, and he basically is going to facilitate every meeting that you go through. How long does this take? That depends on you, the collaborative. Under strategy 2, we're going to do demand planning. Collectively, he's going to start saying, what are your common pain points? So let's say we do a healthcare and a manufacturer, and the manufacturer starts to list, here are all the problems we're having in job positions. And in healthcare, they may say ours is in CNA, CMA, phlebotomy, RN, and pharmacy tech. Those are usually the most common ones that they have. So then we start looking at what are your new and replacement time needs over a 12-month period. We don't want to go any more than that, because when you start looking out broader than that and you look at state data, it's wonderful to have, but state data is based on 5 to 10 year projections. In today's workforce, you don't need any more than 24 months, because who knew we were going to have a pandemic? All of that data that's out there, you can take it up and throw it in the cylinder pile. It is not any good anymore. We have complete industries that have been devastated, some that may not come back, and some who are trying to figure out, okay, we've got to restructure all of this completely. Then he's going to talk to you about communicating the competencies and the credentials. Will you accept an apprenticeship training program versus an associate's degree? And I'll kind of throw this up. How many of you in your job descriptions, you say bachelor's degree, 1 year of experience, associate's degree, 3 years of experience, high school diploma with CTE, and 5 years of experience, military, and so many years of experience? Or do you just say bachelor's degree, associate's degree, high school diploma? When you do that, think about it from the reader standpoint. The reader will say, I have all the competencies that they're looking for this position, but I don't have a bachelor's degree. They don't apply because they feel they have to have that credential. But if you go or, just think how quickly you diversify your talent pool, okay? So once the navigator has walked through the employers through all of this, and as I said, they have all their ducks in a row, they have all their common language and so forth. Now it's time to manage the talent supply. TPM is just like supply chain management. You're moving raw material through the cycle to the consumer. Talent pipeline is the same way, as you're taking the raw talent, or the raw material is the individual, working them through the pipeline with lots of on-ramps and off-ramps to get them to who? The employer, okay? So we're gonna ask the employers, where are you finding your talent? Did you put all your eggs in one basket? Or are you pulling from Lakeland, EIU, Richland, Parkland, or are you just pulling all from Lakeland? And then you start to look at, and I'm just picking on Lakeland because I'm in this area, nothing personally, but when you're pulling your talent all from Lakeland, are you getting your best talent from them? Or are you having to tweak your training to get them, when you're onboarding them, to get them to full production? What's missing from Lakeland's material and training? Do they even offer a training program based on your hardest to fill, highest demand positions? Once we start looking at that, and it's okay. It is okay to find your best talent from a high school career and tech ed program. It's okay to find your talent from a nonprofit who is offering a training program, or a 2-year, or a 4-year, or a military, or a trade school, or an apprenticeship training program. One does not supersede the other one. One does not mean one is even better than the other one. So then we start to build that talent supply chain, and that's just when the supplier role, which is the training provider, their role is significant and it slowly subsides. Whereas when you're out doing those kindergarten career events or doing those little job events or speaking in a classroom, your role is minimal. But as that individual goes through the training, the employer role increases. And then all of you are asking, okay, so why is this different than any other things? What's the ROI? The ROI is the reduction of filling that position, the reduction of doing the training, the reduction of having to find that talent elsewhere, the marketing of those positions. And the ROI is huge for the student and the learner as well, because as they're going through the pipeline, they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. They know where they're going to end up. Okay, next slide. There's our value stream. Remember, as I said earlier, the supplier role starts down here with the educators and it slowly subsides. And the employer role starts out small and increases. So it takes them from career awareness at kindergarten and what is LWIA 23 doing as a whole for career awareness for those little bitty tots, all the way up to what are you doing for retention with those employers. Our navigators fall in that career exploration to the onboarding, where our intermediaries start at the career exploration and take it clear through retention. And collectively, that's what makes up Apprenticeship Illinois. Next slide. So what are some of the 5 elements of an effective apprenticeship expansion and working in a TPM environment? I think these are some. Number 1, whoops, as a group, you speak as one voice. Nate collects the data and presents it back in one voice. With one voice, a collaborative can make a bigger change than one business trying to do it alone. That's even with school policy, school education, school curriculum development, apprenticeship expansions, different training programs. One that I know is under works right now is actually creating, and this is coming from many voices of businesses, is creating career advisors in high schools. Okay, not guidance counselors, but someone in workforce development who understands the pathways that a student can take. You have capacity to develop, register, and support programs. So this small industry, the small mom and pops in LWIA 23, who's does everything, the HR, the bookkeeping and everything, they don't have time for this, but in a collaborative, they have that support as the larger businesses. Industry-wide focus and diversifying your pipeline, and of course, industry fluency, your pipelines and programmings that are out there and that are offered not only with your training providers, but other and your educators, but with other nonprofits as well. Next slide. So what are the advantages of the sector strategies? Number 1, you're coming together with one voice to share your expertise and your pain points across your life industry. You have the potential to increase and leverage different industries. For example, going back to manufacturers, some of you may have a logistics side to your industry. And some of you in this room just may be a TDL or a distribution center. By coming together, again, you're seeing the big picture as a whole within LWIA 23. Your RTI is there. Your industry consortia can serve as a registered apprenticeship intermediaries. Let's say Jamie is a manufacturer and she's going to create a welding apprenticeship. And Debbie is another employer and she wants to do an apprenticeship. By developing a common language, they can develop the same apprenticeship training program together. Or if she is Lakeland and you're Parkland, for example, or Lakeland or Eastern, by developing the same similar training program, it doesn't matter where the student learns from. But when it gets to this gentleman here, the training was identical. Okay, so it's going to meet his needs. All right. And then, of course, we're aligning registered apprenticeships to any of our industry career pathways. Next slide. So to learn more about our navigational system, here's a couple of sites that you can go to. Apprenticeship Illinois WorkNet site. There's lots of information out there. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me and I will direct you to your navigator in your region if you don't reach out to him directly, or a training provider who's serving as an intermediary. We also have different career pathways for you to explore with it. And under our Apprenticeship Illinois link, we have everything that's going to be advertised and marketed for a National Apprenticeship Week will be there. So if you decide to host an event, we will put that information out there and help draw the audience to you. We put our success programs, our success stories, like you all have in your catalog, we put those out there as well. But any training that you all are interested in going through and learning more about apprenticeship as a whole. So again, we have this across Illinois, and I can tell you right now, top of my head, we have over 568 new training programs, apprenticeship training programs developed since, I think, so since July of last year. We have new ones. We have over 1,000 different apprentices going. And if you're sitting here thinking, yeah, but my industry, I can't see apprenticeships fitting in. We are creating apprenticeships in hospitality, culinary arts, healthcare, IT, graphic design, and we even have one going up in winemaking. And I know you all have wineries down in this area, so we do have a distillery that's putting together apprenticeship training programs for winemaking. So there isn't a career field out there that we cannot use it to create an apprenticeship training program, whether you have a 2-year, 4-year high school CTE or military experience. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kim.
She said winemaking, and I think the room woke up.
Yeah, I'm ready. Sign me
I
up.
should have led with that.
I should have started with winemaking, yes.
No, thank you for the information. That is fantastic information. I've had the pleasure of having Nate and Jamie come over and meet with a company and put them in touch with about setting up an apprenticeship. It's employers are hungry for that. Everybody's looking for innovative ways to get people in the pipeline. And I think one thing that she stressed that is so important for everyone is one thing that we've got a partnership going in the Vendetta area with the school system is that we realize that if we wait till high school, we're too late.
Yes.
We really have to reach out to junior high and actually into the grade schools. We used to think of these things as soft skills, oh, be clean, show up on time, do what you say you're going to do. We're actually changing that to where they're taught as hard skills.
Yes.
And it's kind of sad, but we're missing a generation of parenting out there.
Yep.
To be, for lack of better terms. So, but any of the programs like you talked about are great. Theo programs are great, and I wish every kid in the school system could be a part of the Theo program. But we have to change from just thinking CEO kids here, where we push it down further in if we're going to change our workforce going into the future. So, but thank you very much. We'll move along to Lori.
It's nice after almost 3 years, finally getting to be in a room all together. So a lot of familiar faces, but a lot of new faces too. So welcome, glad you're here. Start with my report. Since our last meeting in March, we've had no business or plant closures to report, no rapid response events held. Lakeland College, they completed our annual fiscal monitoring during the week of April 4th. There were no findings through this visit. Then DCEO, they came and did programmatic monitoring for us the week of May 9th. Our exit interview was held on June 2nd, and we did receive some information about potential findings that do require some corrective action. The potential findings in the customer files, they were clerical in nature. It had not related to any eligibility or disallowed costs, anything like that. And we still have not yet received that official letter from DCEO, so we're waiting on that. Staff attended the reintegration grant meeting for Southern Illinois on April 19th. to discuss how we can serve those Department of Correction offenders who will be released back to their home communities. We've got a couple of gentlemen that are in a Southern Illinois facility who will be getting released probably in the fall sometime. They've got a certificate in welding. They're going to be coming to us trying to find employment. So we're going to help with that job search on that side. I also met with the Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice staff members on May 11th and presented information about WIA, our programs and services. And we just talked about how we can partner to better serve those juvenile offenders that are going to be coming back to their home communities. Heidi Cade, one of our case managers from the Vandalia office, she attended the 2022 Vandalia Career Fair held on April 29th. And this was held at Kaskaskia College, the Vandalia Center. Over 300 jobs and careers were available among over 50 businesses participating in the event. We've always had a real good event over in Vandalia. The employers embrace this and all come together to try to get as many people in. This was the second time they've held this, and it just keeps growing every year. So they've done really well. Heidi, along with some Kaskaskia College staff, they offered successful job search, and this was a free presentation to anyone coming in. They went over resume writing, interviewing, and soft skills training. Elaine Newding and I, and also Jamie, we attended the National Association of Workforce Development Professionals. This was their annual conference held May 16th through the 18th. Sessions were on the following tracks: innovation in virtual and hybrid environments, personal growth and self-care, program administration and management, recruiting and engaging the workforce of today and tomorrow, and prosperity through partnership. And their annual conference is one of the largest gathering of workforce development professionals with more than 1,300 attending this year. So it was a really good conference. And our staff would continue to attend the Illinois Workforce Partnership meetings, as well as performance work group task force meetings held monthly. And the last few months, we've been really busy preparing for summer semester at the area colleges, making enrollments into the adult, dislocated worker, youth, and trade programs. And we've really recruited heavily, it seems like, in the last couple of months, specifically the youth program. So currently we have 361 customers receiving career and training services through all programs. 153 have been exited for a total number served to date, 514. And our dislocated worker numbers are kind of down right now. There's just not that many dislocated worker people that are coming through our doors. And we also have the funding on the adult side. So youth, I think we're in pretty good shape right now. We'll always take referrals and we can get them on a waiting list for fall, but the adult dislocated worker, we're going to continue doing recruiting, get them started for fall. So that's concludes my report.
All right, we'll move on to Jamie.
All right. So I spend a lot of time on making a wonderful little PowerPoint for you guys every quarterly meeting. And the last two, it decides not to work when it's time for me to show you my PowerPoint. So I promise you it's on my screen. It's not showing up there for some reason. Hopefully those of you who are joining virtually are seeing what I'm seeing. But first I want to talk about the success stories. So on your tables, you have this handy dandy little booklet that's very slick looking and professional. And it's so nice to have something in my hand instead of just a PDF to scroll through. If you have not had a chance to read through all of the amazing stories within this, please take it with you. Take it with you anyway, even if you have looked at it. Read through the stories. They're really amazing, and it's a good reminder of why we're doing what we're doing. We are impacting people's lives, and it's kind of easy to forget sitting in a meeting or working on some deliverable as part of a grant project, but when you look at the stories of these individuals and their families and how they're impacted, it's a good reminder. After you've read through and you've made the hard choice of just one, go ahead and on this also handy dandy little ballot, select your favorite story, and you can, if you vote tonight, leave it here on your table, or you can take it with you and scan the QR code with your smartphone and vote online. Or if none of those options sound good to you and you just want to call me or email me with your favorite story, please do that as well. But I would like to have feedback by the end of this week. And we're on summer schedule, so we're not working Friday. So Thursday, close of business would be ideal. There's a handy, dandy, wonderful success stories. Since I'm next on the agenda for fiscal agent report, I will just continue on as long as that's okay. So I will go to first topic that's still not showing up is the WIA program plan year 2022 allocations. So we did hear from DCEO and what our allocations are expected to be for this upcoming plan year. So for LWIA 23, our total is $2,324,551. That is a decrease of about $301,379, about $300,000. Looking at the percentages, that's about an 11.5% decrease. And across the state, all of the LWIAs saw a decrease, and the median decrease was about 12%. So we're right there about at average. Decreases are never fun to get. And I know that there's a lot of questions as to why. That's formula funding. There's a lot of different things that the state looks at when they decide who gets what. So if you have specific questions or need more transparency, we can have DCEO do a little Q&A session for you guys, or just present on how they come up with the decisions they've come up with. At the federal level, funding was increased for WIOA, but Illinois got a smaller chunk of the pie because some of the other bigger states like California, Texas, and New York all got increases. So that left us with a little bit less. So they did the best they could with what they got, and we ended up with a decrease. Looking at the grant recipient budget from last year to this year, Debbie went over this in the planning and oversight meeting, but I just wanted to touch on it that we had just under 2% increase. We went from 14% of that budget, or that budget being 14% of the overall formula grant, to about 15.9% of the grant recipient budget being part of the overall formula grant. We tried to cut, we were already pretty much at bare bones. We tried to cut where we could, but we also were planning on a 5% increase for our salaries. That is a Lakeland College decision, and I'm very grateful to get a raise, yes, but knowing that, and maybe Tony would be grateful too if he could get one. We're planning that maybe he'll get one. We'll see. We'll see. Knowing that, we did try to cut where we could in other places, but it was just hard, a little hard. So even though we're looking at an overall decrease for the general formula funds, just for grant recipient, we only increased by 2% despite planning on increase in salary. Then looking at, I wanted to talk about incumbent worker projects. Tony has hit incumbent worker projects hard. We've had several this past year. Sarah Bush Lincoln, Mac Plastics, Graphic Packaging, EJ Waters, and then even just since our last meeting back in March, I think we've tagged on AgriFab, Evapco, Peerless, Irwin Seating, Lester Buildings, and Charles Industries. And some of those have just come in the last couple months. And we still have a whole lot of interest generating out there. So we have designated another $80,000 from the new fiscal year money to go to incumbent worker. And we're pretty sure we'll be able to spend that pretty well, and maybe even more. So if you have anyone in your area, any businesses that are looking to grow, need to do some training internally, or incumbent workers get some external training so that they can rise internally, please point them in Tony's direction. All right. Then I know the last year we've been talking about the plan year 20 obligation waiver, and As of January, it was pretty intense, but we have solved the obligation issue by just obligating the entire contract to CEFS. And with that has solved a lot of our issues. We're not having as much touch points with DCEO, which is always a good thing. I love talking to them, but it's always nice when I don't have to talk to them every single week. And then we do know we have to have those expenditures. 100% must be expended by the end of the 2-year grant term, and we are definitely taking care of that without a problem. So this is the last time you'll hear about that PY20 obligation waiver. We are doing good. Yay. Then I wanted to talk about just some Plan Year 21 status updates. So for Plan Year 21, our formula funds, since DCO kind of foresaw that there was going to be another cut, they issued another modification with some cushion funding of $60,000. I believe it went to a dislocated worker and we moved it to adult, but still similar funding streams. So we submitted the modification for that back in May. And then, as Lori already touched on, we did have programmatic and fiscal monitoring come through for Plan Year 21. We did the entrance conference on May 9th, soft exit conference June 2nd, and that's where we heard of there was a list of findings, but as we went through this list, we realized there are clerical errors, not really findings. So we are just waiting on the final findings letter to be received, and then we will have you guys take a look at it and respond to that. We're expecting it any day now. They told us we should have it by now, but they're always a little bit behind, and that's okay. So I am too. All right, then I wanted to talk about our apprenticeship navigator. So you may have heard this, but we have a new navigator and his name is Nate. So this officially is Nate Carlson. Welcome. He has been on staff for 2.5 months now. 2 months. Time means nothing to me anymore. So he's been here a little while. He's definitely gotten his feet wet. He's done some tremendous work already with establishing local employers who want to start apprenticeships, new ones, and getting them ready to go. And we have, go ahead, do you want to give them a synopsis of what we have right now?
Yeah, I'd say, so hi, I'm Nate. Happy to be here and speak with all of you. Since I started about 2 months ago, we have at this point 6 or 7 different employers who are developing programs with us across a wide variety of industries, from winemaker to healthcare, stuff in between. And so, what's most amazing to me about this school so far is every time you put this information in front of an employer, their eyes light up because they realize, oh my goodness, this is I've been waiting for it. So, the more people hear about it, the more people get excited about it, the more programs we're going to be able to implement. So now that you've all met me and know my name and know my face, don't be surprised if you get an email from me saying, hey, let's get something with your local chamber put together. Hey, let's meet to talk about how we can implement some of these, all of those collaborative systems. We've worked on some hard, not supporting them, but excited to do the work and excited to be here.
Thank you so much, Nate. Yeah, so just again, he is made possible by the Apprenticeship Expansion Grant Award that we received, and he is available at ncarlson@lakelandcollege.edu. His phone number is the same number that was used for Kevin Pierce. If you guys were here when Kevin Pierce was here, you can reach him at 238-8224, or just holler at me or Tony. We can get you in touch with Nate. All right, then I was going to talk a little bit about the WIA Summit. It was pretty awesome. The overarching theme was economic recovery and the future of work. There were a lot of good speakers. It was in person and hybrid, so some of the events were recorded. I encourage you to go check out those recordings. You can look at ilworkforceacademy.com/WIOA-summit-2022, or just tell me you want to see the recordings and I'll just send you a direct link to your email. It was really great. There was a lot of good stuff. It was back in April, so honestly, I can't even remember all of the good things, but if you have any questions or want to learn more, let me know. Then just some things to think about that are on the horizon. The IWP, Illinois Workforce Partners, the award celebration is planning on happening in person in September. However, an exact date and the exact location is to be determined. We're getting some different bids and comparing contracts before we decide exactly where to have it. But once we know the exact time, date, location, I will let you guys know that you're all invited to attend and see what's going on there. And then just to touch base on what the business services team for LWIA 23 has been doing. We're looking to plan another roundtable event as we have in earlier this year and then in years past. We do want to try to make it align with the collaborative that we want to establish for the apprenticeship grant. So we are looking at how we can do that and leverage the business service team and the sector roundtables we've already done in partners that we all already have to bring them together. So be on the lookout for more information there. As always, I just want you guys to remember that our mission is to create a workforce talent pipeline, connecting people with sustainable employment through our training services. I want you to be thinking, what are you doing or what could you do to recruit participants into WIOA programs? What employers in your area are expanding and growing, or what ones are looking to do any layoffs or are downsizing? In what ways can we help the local businesses? So as those things are turning around in your mind and you're thinking of opportunities, please loop us in. I'm a phone call away, an email away. Let me know what we can do to help. And then this is so much cooler if you could see it, but shameless plug, we have our WIN, Workforce Innovation News podcast. Please check that out anywhere you get your podcasts. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Just Google search WIN, Workforce Innovation News. You should be able to find us, listen, and share. Please share. That is how we can get word out about our services. And then as always as well, follow us. Share any of our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and we have a YouTube channel. So just look for LWIA 23, LWIA 23. Share, share, share. Get the word out. And then that is what I have for the fiscal agent report right now. Do you guys have any questions or concerns?
What areas?
I'm sorry,
What geographical area is the?
LWIA 2 or EDR 2?
LWIA 2.
I'm not sure. Tony, it's got to be up north because one is Chicago, I'm pretty sure. Off the top of my head, I'm not.
There may not be a two. As different times have occurred, some LWIAs have been dissolved or moved into other ones. So there are some holes.
7 is good.
Seven's gonna be, I just noticed they had a 20%.
2
loss.
it is an LWIA because they do have
Okay.
money and they had a significant loss.
What's the name?
Does it shock you that 7 had the least amount of decrease?
Oh, yeah,
McHenry County?
McHenry County.
just curious.
Couldn't you have asked a question I knew the answer to? It's my first time in person.
You should have made up you could have made up one of the 102 counties in there.
Any other questions? All right, with that, you can go ahead and go to the next item.
Okay, we'll move on to our committee reports. Mike?
The Oversight and Planning Committee met June 16th. Additional stuff we went over was the grant recipient fiscal agent reports were approved that Debbie gave us. We approved the current training programs this year presented by Tony. And we also discussed and approved by the committee the 2020 budget, which will be discussed tonight for full board approval. This is a big budget for us in June. At the end of the year, we have to approve a lot of things that get approved on a yearly basis. So, thank you. Any questions?
Thanks, Mike. Tiffany?
Yes, the youth committee met this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And as you heard from Lori's report, things are going swimmingly. So we decided it's either feast or famine with youth recruitment. And right now we're at feast. So things are looking really good. We definitely, any chance we get as board and CEOs, we need to thank Lori and her staff for going above and beyond and working really, really hard this past quarter to get those youth numbers up. She did go over pretty much in detail the one performance measure that was listed as a fail at this point. It's just basically the data, more data needs to be put into the system, and she feels that will be raised to meet the stage. And then at this point, because they are have a surplus right now of youth, we're going to put our youth roundtable on hold. Where we hit different segments of different communities. One time we did a juvenile industry roundtable to see how we could get the word out to that particular segment of the community. So youth roundtable will be hit, we'll hit pause until September and kind of regroup after Lori and her staff kind of take a breath. And the next meeting will be September 19th. Any questions?
Thank you, Tiffany. What are you gonna do? Consultant? Okay.
I'm going to update the consortium committee meeting we met earlier this afternoon at 4 o'clock. We did not have a quorum at the meeting, so we're not able to vote on anything, but I'll cover some of the topics that we went over. We got an update on the business service team. The business service team is meeting once a month, and we are giving some updates to each other, things that we have going on to make some of those connections. The one-stop operator, Lori reported for the one-stop operator. Right now, Tony is working on submitting our plan to the state so that we can have in-person meetings and have the door open at our Effingham office. Right now, we are not allowed to have Title I clients in the building. So we are putting a plan together and asking for permission for clients to be able to come into the building.
They can't come in the building. It's by appointment.
By appointment only. I'm sorry, I should specify that. They can come in by appointment only. We want the door to be open that they can come in as they need services and not have to have an appointment. Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate that. Tony also reported on MOU signatures. He is missing one signature right now, and he has made contact with that agency to get that signature taken care of. We heard title reports from Title I, which is our adult dislocated worker and youth. We heard from Title II and IRBA also. Again, just a shameless plug on it. Please go out on your social media, whatever platform or platforms you use. Please share your WIA partners and your LWIA 23 social media so we can get that information out. You know, I always feel like we're the best kept secret ever. So please get that information out so we can serve those that need our services. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Executive committee, I wasn't able to be there, but Joe?
Yes, we met on the 16th at our annual meeting, with the budget. And that was the only issue that we dealt with for tonight. I want to thank Debbie and everyone that worked hard on putting the budget together. Nice to have it in front of you. And when we get to that item, we are making a recommendation.
Joe? Now moving on to any approval for those reports. I have a motion, please. A second. Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. All right, on to our budget approval. Debbie, did you need to present that?
As Jamie talked about earlier, 2.8% was what we came up with as far as the increase. The bulk of that is from the 5% salary increase from Lakeland. We tried cutting a couple other areas that we thought could. So that having 3 staff, not a whole lot not a lot of wiggle room to work with at this point. And then the second page is also the apprenticeship budget. Basically, that's the grant budget that is showing the 98,000. That is what we were awarded from DCO. So basically, that's just sort of a breakdown of the cost that we anticipate. There might be a modification along the way in between different account numbers, but the overall amount, the 98,000 is what we were awarded. So any questions from
on any items?
Not hearing any, we need a motion to approve the budget.
May I ask, are we approving both, just the meal budget and the pension budget? They both need to be approved or just?
I think probably both, and then,
We can, I mean, theoretically, it's just a board's budget, because the apprenticeship grant is kind of, the budget's kind of given to us. So, okay, but the responsibility of the board and the CEOs is for the WIA money.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022 budget.
In a second. All in favor, please say aye.
I have to do roll call maybe.
Will you be a roll call? Okay. All right, we need a roll call this one.
Okay, Gerald,
Yes.
Jim Boyd,
Yeah.
Kevin Binker, not here, Lori Jennings for Kevin,
Yes.
Brian Cannon,
Yes.
Pat Clay,
Yes.
Dave Cole's not here, Mike Conrad,
Yes.
Lisa Erbacher, not here, Adam Black, not here, Tiffany Mackey. Yes. Mandy Martin.
I think
Josh McElravy, not here, Katie Burkholder, Julie Obermark.
Yes.
Casey Parr, not here, John Perry, Lori Foreman, Deb Reed.
Yes.
Denise Ryder, Denise Smith,
Yes.
Yes.
Kim Taylor, Carol Tracy.
Yes.
Connie Waldrop, Jason Warple.
Yes.
Bill Wilson Fulton. Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Back to Jamie.
Back in March, we submitted our regional plan with COVID modifications. The regional plan team got together and talked about how COVID impacted all of our daily lives, our service levels, just impacted the entire region in general. So we updated our regional plan for consideration of COVID-19 pandemic effects. We submitted at the end of March to DCEO, then May 20th, they responded back with, that sounds great, but here's some stuff we want y'all to go back and fix. So the team did the requested revisions, and there were some that were just suggested improvements. And as of about like 4:17 today, we submitted that to DCEO as it was due today. So we anticipate hearing back from them any day now, and then this revised modification will be the new WIOA regional plan for Economic Development Region 7, LWIA 23, as of July 1st. And then we will gear up to do the next 4-year plan. This was just the modification of the current 4-year plan. Next year, we get to plan out for another 4 years. So if you want to take a look at it, I can get that sent to you. We will be updating our webpage to have the new modifications any day now. Like I said, I just sent this off to DCEO. So if you have any questions on that or concerns, please let me know.
Moving on to the nominating committee. Oh, wait, sorry, we have to vote on our regional plan, don't we? Yes, no?
Do we wait till next time when they've had a chance to see it? Tony? We put this in here because we were thinking we might get this done well in advance and you guys could vote on it today, but you guys haven't had the chance to see it because it just got submitted today.
We can always, we'll submit it now, we'll ratify the decision in September.
Okay, so let's ratify it in September.
Okay, moving on to the nominating committee. Tiffany. Who's speaking?
Tiffany, are you speaking for the nominating?
Yes, Carol.
Yeah, go ahead.
The nominating committee met and with a lot of phone tag. Thank you all for being so accommodating with us. We would like to nominate the following slate for officers for the following year. Chairman Gerald Billiou and Vice Jason Warfel. Any nominations for the floor? Any discussion?
Nope, none. Yes, not hearing any. I'd like a motion to approve our new president, vice chair.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Or say heck yes, whatever. Yeah. Thank you. No, and thank you both for your willingness to serve as chair and vice chair. And I know Gerald, you've been vice chair for a long time, and I appreciate that. So, moving on to our next year's meeting schedule. Need a quick motion to approve those dates. Someone?
So it's in June, next year, the second Monday. Not the third.
Yes, and the reason why we done that is because of Juneteenth. Lakeland College will actually be closed on that 19th. So we knew even today, having some of the state agencies already closed this year, we were running into problems having enough people to meet quorum. So especially with us having off next year, we're going to try and move it up a year or a week and see how it goes. And then hopefully the following year, maybe it will be on Tuesday and we won't have to worry about it, but we'll see from there. But yes, we did move it up for June.
Both the public and private sector are adjusting to the Juneteenth, but next year is the real deal. It's on for everybody in the state. So, okay, any other questions? Motion to approve? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Moving on. Anyone have anything to share going on in their respective county? Any job fairs, anything going on?
No, but I would say, our Hershey plant has broke ground and is starting a huge addition, which by, we're looking at about 147 jobs to be added to Crawford County. So, hopefully when time comes, they'll can use some of our services as well.
Despite what you hear from the state, that there are some success stories going on in this part of the world. Octochem and Bandana finished a $6 million expansion, and they hope to add another 40 to 50 jobs over this next year. We can find them for them. So,
And additionally, we just they just started work this past week on a big truck washing station for Hershey to accommodate Hershey and Barry Calliabo there. It's going to be right behind there. And we're looking at the time anywhere from 25 to 30 full-time hours. So but we're timed out. Yeah. Still time. Just getting started. Just breaking ground.
super. Anything else going on in our WIA 23? No. I just want to take a moment to thank you all for enduring me as your chairman over the last 5 years. I don't think I had gray hair when I started on this board several years ago. And then several have retired because of me, I think. Elaine hasn't, and I think that was because they had an intense game of paper, rock, scissors, and she lost, so she had to stay. So, but I wouldn't want to hand the gavel over to Gerald without honoring and thanking our staff, Lori, Jamie, Debbie, Tony. Whenever I call them and I say, hey, get down here in Fayette County to do a Chamber of Commerce meeting, a Rotary Club meeting, meet with some prospective apprenticeship contacts or anything else, they are always willing to do it. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they tell me, Pat, don't say that ever again. We can't do that. We have too much transparency. We can't spend money like that. I'm like, but the private sector, but they remind me. So, but again, you're all represent your counties and your businesses and the business community and where you come from. So you know people. So a lot of what I do is just, I'm not afraid to talk to people and ask questions. And do you have an apprentice program? Why not? You know, are you using all the services that WIA has to offer? Which WIA, you know, it's just starting a conversation. And what that's transformed to in Fayette County and Bay is we have started some workforce development programs reaching down for at younger ages in our county. And we're hoping that it pays some dividends because we all are full of stories and gripes about how things and the workforce are. But if we don't start doing some things to change them, and if we want to invest in the future, we need to reach down to younger ages in our school systems. And if they want to own a Corvette someday and they're in the 5th grade, we need to tell them how to do it. We need to tell them that, hey, it takes hard work and it takes financial management and it takes a good work ethic to do it. And unfortunately, we're missing some of that some of that steering that maybe we all had. And it's kind of our responsibility to make things better a little bit. So, but I do want to thank you all for allowing me to be the chair. It's been my honor to serve you guys. And I just can't say enough great things about the work that our WIA staff do for us. If you ever think about being the chair, do it. It's easy. These guys make it easy. You sign a lot of stuff. Sometimes those numbers are really big. I'm like, Tony, is this good? Am I really signing this $1 million thing? I'm not personally responsible for this, am I? So, but it's been, yeah. Nancy's been there too. Nancy and I signed some stuff over the years that I went, Nancy, did you ever read some of this stuff? It's kind of daunting sometimes, but that's okay. We're glad to do it. And it's been my pleasure to serve. So without that, anything else for this evening?
Yes, because you're thanking us, but I feel like we need to thank you. So,
Hey, the check that I was supposed to get for being president for 5 years in a row.
yeah,
haven't
I
gotten that
added
yet.
some extra zeros to that, but it was, after the decimal point, so it's still 0.
Got it.
So this is the end of your board chairmanship, and you've done a really outstanding job helping to shape this organization for the past 5 years into what it is today. And we, the LWIA 23 staff, do humbly thank you for your extraordinary work and leadership skills that you've provided to the board and to us. So Pat, as your terms rapidly coming to a close, you're like 15 minutes over. We'd like to take this opportunity just really again to say thank you. This was, not only did you lead through a pandemic, but also the transition from the original amazing director, Jerry Schlechte, to, this director newbie who has no idea what WIA even is most of the time. And this could have been a really rough transition. And with your leadership, it was much easier. So you've been with the board for a long time. We couldn't even count up how many years, but we did come with at least 5 as the board chair. So thank you so much. Your last 5 years have been characterized by innovative ideas, strategic thinking, and your tireless efforts to increase the credibility and visibility of LWIA 23 in our communities. And the resulting goodwill is an incredible asset to us and will continue to influence our services for years to come. So thank you for all that you do. And I'll let you guys know that if it was up to Pat, this would have been a gala affair. There would have been live band. We all would have had stage. So he really
I
does
was
care
trying to
about
spend the whole
everyone.
5 years, or the 2 years that we haven't spent in one night, just to make it a grand gathering and a kick.
He was trying. Tony had said he would at least bring balloons, but we didn't even get the balloons out for this. So thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you did to help me through my first year. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
So I apologize, it's after 7. My Robert's rules are going to get these things. Motion, let's go. So motion to adjourn. Got one there, second.
So moved.
Everyone except for a county board chair, CEO, may exit as their aye. Everyone else stay for a roll call in your meeting. So thanks again.
Oh, stay put. Board members, stay lead. I'm sorry?
I'm on my county.
I forgot to announce that you aren't actually. You're on more than 50 miles. Thank you.
You're not gonna go over. 2 hours.
Thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure. Yep.
Yes, you've been doing a great job, and hey, you still got a year.
I'm gonna give myself a new title called WIA Ambassador. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna make sure we can still have fun going. You guys busy, okay?
We could not get you a watch. I asked for a Rolex, but can we send over that too? He can sound all of my ideas.
All the good ideas are just. I know it, darn it.
There's a little swag, but they need to- Thank you so much, Tim. I think I'm straight over there. And I haven't had this, I've been eyeing it.
That's I've always, like, it's great. I just
Thank you. Thank you. Those of you who are not CEOs, I don't know if anybody else. Would like to continue your conversation outside of the room. Jeff Boyd should be on.
We're gonna start the.
Jeff Boyd is still here.
Here for your CEO meeting, otherwise.
I got you. I see you're still on. Thank you. Nancy?
You're welcome.
Nancy, you might have to project quite a bit. Like my phone's here.
Oh,
Thank you.
did you get it?
Okay.
Okay, some CEOs online or not?
Jeff Boyd is.
Good to see you.
All right. Well, welcome. After, as she said, almost 3 years, it's great to be back in person. Why don't we have the roll call, please?
Okay. Todd Beard.
Here.
Jim Bolin.
Yeah.
Jim Brewer.
Here.
David Folling.
Here.
Joe Gilliland.
Here.
Dennis Graves. Elizabeth Hauser for Billy Boyd.
Here.
John Perry. Nancy Purdy.
Here.
Debbie Smith. Jeff Boyd.
Here.
Jennifer Wagner. And Jason Warfel.
Here.
We've got a quorum.
All right. Item on the agenda is review and approval of the December 13th minutes and the March 21 minutes. March was not a quorum, therefore we will not be approving the March minutes, but looks like,
Just the notes is all that.
okay, but all the way back to December, we are,
December was the last official meeting.
all right. So, let's see, did we have those in our, the December? You know what, I wonder
If I didn't send those out,
because it's been a while since I've read those.
I bet I probably did not send those out. My apologies. Yes, they should be.
They are on our website, and I'm sure you guys look at that website all the time, don't you? Well, I think I did after that meeting, in March, but. Okay, so do you want to go ahead and do a vote on that?
That's up to you guys if you want to wait until.
December minutes. I didn't see a problem with them in March, but. Okay, so we will have a vote then. Do I have a motion to approve the December 13th, 2021 meeting? All right, Jim, thank you. Second? Thank you. Any conflict of interest, number 3? All right, number 4. Dave McCabe was able to.
Do you want to vote on that?
Oh.
Vote on your minutes.
Always forget that part. Come up, says action required. Thank you. All right, we have one line. Would we like to vote on the approval of the minutes, please? Everybody? Aye. Any nays? All right. Thank you for continuing to remind me of this. That's good. Okay, number 3, conflict of interest disclosure. Number 4, we need a vice chair. Dave was no longer on his board, and so he will no longer be able to be our vice chair. So do I have a nomination? Ooh, or a volunteer, even better. All right. Anyone besides Jim then? Jim is volunteer and being nominated. Okay. Do I have a nomination?
I'll look at that.
A motion. A motion to, yeah,
was going to close nominations and then a second. And all approved as the new vice chair. Aye.
Aye.
Authority updates.
I will take that. So Lakeland College has signed for LWIA 23 on 2 occasions since the last meeting for our Plan Year 21 Formula Fund modification. That's $60,000 that I talked about earlier. Greg Nuxel signed for that. And then also our trade grant modification. It was not a change in dollar amount. It was just a change in service scope. And he signed for that as well. Today is the 20th, and on the 23rd, he will be signing for our new Plan Year 22 Formula Grant. So he hasn't quite signed for it yet, but it's coming up in any day. So I wanted to just get that out there that Plan Year 21 Formula Modification, Trade Modification, and then Plan Year 22 New Formula Allocations. And that is all.
Okay, number 6, we've got the 22 budget approval. Debbie?
I gave the information at the board. Does anybody have any additional questions?
And I also attended by phone on that meeting, and it was discussed, the budget was discussed. There was it will not.
Wait, do you have any input on the budget?
No, but I'd like to move the approval. Jeff Boyd.
Like your style.
Yes, do I have a second? Thank you. All in favor, all groups say aye.
Roll call, please. Just when you get it.
Okay, Todd Beard.
Yes.
Jim Bolin.
Yes.
Tim Brewer.
Yes.
Dave Bowling.
Yes.
Joe Gilliland.
Yes.
Elizabeth Hauser.
Yes.
Nancy Purdy.
Yes.
Debbie Smith.
Yes.
Jeff Boyd.
Yes.
And Jason Warfel.
Yes.
All right, that is passed. Number 7, board attendance and reappointments. Jamie?
All right, so board attendance, you guys should all have that attendance report. Take a look at it, and if the board member from York County is not participating, not attending the board meetings, it's time to start thinking about finding someone else who will. There are several spots that have recently come open because board members are looking to get off the board, have other priorities or whatnot. So if that is the case in your area, please get with me or Tony to see what we can do to try to facilitate getting someone new in there. So I know Clay County's working on it. Moultrie County, we just got someone into the CEO position, and Elizabeth is serving as proxy here for him today. I appreciate that. And then we'll also be looking, Stacy Parr is no longer with National Able, our Title IV partner, or Title V partner, sorry. So we will be looking at filling in that spot as well.
Question, I got an email that Lewis Ryder was not going to be.
Yes, forgot about that. Lewis Ryder has retired. So from the board, the county board, so then he will not be serving on this board either. So then we needed, were you the board member and we needed you to serve as CEO, or you're the CEO proxy and we're having you serve as the board member?
I can also serve as a board member.
Okay, that solves that problem really quick. So if you still want to serve as a board member, wonderful. If you would like to find someone else to share that duty with, get with me and Tony. We'll go over the qualifications that they need, whatever paperwork needs to be done. But if you are happy serving as CEO and board, we would love that.
I'll try it out.
Awesome, thank you.
Try it out.
Elizabeth, yes.
I think that's what I am as well. I don't know that I'm, you can ask Billy though. He called me and asked me to fill the spot.
Okay. I think you will serve as proxy. When I talked to him, he said you would serve until September. Is that when you're up for reelection?
November.
November? So September would be the next meeting that you would come to. Good deal. So we're set there.
All right. Okay, we've got number 8 is the planning and oversight representation, and that also is Jamie.
That's me again. All right, so our planning and oversight committee, that is our action committee. I know all committees are action committees, but that one really does a lot. And we would love to have CEO representation on that committee. Because so much is discussed about the operations, the budgets, all the hard-hitting questions, we would love to have one of you guys serve on that committee as well, so you know what's going on firsthand and can report out if needed. The current CEO that we have on that committee has not been able to make any of the meetings since she's been on. So I would really appreciate if there's anyone here tonight that by nature normally participates and attends, if you could also sit in. That is a Thursday meeting, not one of the Monday meetings. It is the Thursday before board and CEO at 4:30, I think, 4:30. Are any of you interested in sitting on that board, on that committee? It is late and it's been a long day, sorry. I knew this would happen. You would all be really excited and just rush to get onto that committee. I'll let you marinate on it for a little bit.
This is Jeff Boyd. I'll do it.
Thank you, Jeff. Wonderful. Put that in the minutes. Let's hold them to it. Wonderful. That is a very good committee to be on. Stuff really happens and it's very informative as well. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Next, number 9, next year's meeting schedule is set right now for September 19th, December 12th, March 20th, and June 12th. And it was approved at the board. If we agree also here, all approved, say aye. And no, say aye.
Do we need a motion?
We do.
I'm telling you, Nancy, it's late, it's Monday.
You guys. Have we been in first? Oh,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
Jim.
Jim, all right, and a second? Debbie Smith. Okay, so I guess we'll do this again. All approved, say aye. Aye. And no, same sign. All right, so do we have any old business? New business?
Well, I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Well, thank you. I think this broken shoulder went to my head. I'm not doing anything well tonight. So let's see, number 11, any public comment other than, that kind of goes right along with number 12, closing remarks, just everyone be safe going home.
I'm very grateful for you all coming in person. This has been great. I've seen a lot of you or heard your voices on a screen through a phone. It is really good to see you in person, to know that you are real live people. It's awesome.
Hasn't she done a great job for her first year here?
I mean, I've only had 2 years under my belt, but this is my first in-person meeting. Yeah.
And number 13, then I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those approved, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody dare to say no?